emailed me this week, asking, had personal opinion on it, and was asking, they never heard the outcome of it.
Oh, sure. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, it appears to be along the accidental line because it wasn't in an area that would be normally burned. And it was along the tree line next to the road, or off the roadway.
So hypothetically,
We gotta get back on track.
hypothetically, if we agreed to mutual aid, fire only, or whatever form we would agree to it, would we be part of the decision, if it ever came to that, to stop mutual aid or limit mutual aid? Or would that be something?
That's an operational thing on our side, quite frankly, yeah. And again, our first focus is to make sure that our service to the village is upheld and our contract agreement with the township is as well. So again, if we don't have resources, we're not gonna send them anywhere else.
We'll be happy to show you where, in the future, if it comes up, hey, Paul, Dan, we've heard 5 mutual aids, and we'll be happy to show you what they were for, and then on top of that, we can give you examples even recently where we've said no to mutual aid, because we don't wanna leave your
Oh,
township.
no, I'm not talking individual cases,
Okay.
individual requests. I'm talking hypothetically, at some point, if the question of, are we gonna continue to provide mutual aid at all? You're referencing earlier.
Oh, I follow you.
With just that overall arching question, would we be involved in that discussion?
That's kind of picked up above my level, and maybe something we have to probably sit around.
I can tell you I've not heard of it, but you'll challenge me to think about it and have discussion with the board, but I've not heard of that in fire and EMS or police.
And like I said, hypothetical, and it's way out there because it's likely not to even happen.
Right.
Just asking.
Okay, where are we at there?
Do you have questions on this? This is a topic that we're gonna have to discuss amongst us.
Understand.
Contract wise, I don't think there's anything else. The only other one is the discussion on having a seat at the table on the police and fire commission, and we understand, let me finish.
I didn't say anything.
I know, I'm saying that with a smile on my face, because I know what you've told us. We've gotten confirmation that you are correct, not that we doubted you, but it is, legally, we could not have a position on it. So understood. You brought up potentially the public safety committee. Can you talk about that?
So, PFC is obviously village resident, we're not those. Yeah. Public safety committee, we spoke a little bit at the last meeting about that was created by ordinance. To find out the public safety committee, as it's titled on your agendas, actually isn't in your ordinances, that it's a standing committee. So I don't know where that exactly stands. I know that there were changes back from 2015-ish, when you reorganized some of the standing committees and different titles and all that kind of stuff. If that's part of a cleanup effort at some other point to reorganize committees that you have that meet as part of COW or not, but that ordinance is fully in the control of the village as far as board membership or appointments or however you want to consider that to be. Those are village standing committees that you have the power to either create, amend, or delete altogether. I think from our conversation earlier that given all that's going on and investments and everything else, and that still is a desire of the town to be a seat at your committee level. Understanding it's not PFC, but potentially PSC.
After the discussion last week, I did contact legal counsel on this. I have not received a response, because apparently he's having some family issues right now. Hopefully, his understudy is looking into it, but
On the PSC side.
just this whole conversation of a seat at the table, to see if it's yes or no. We've been initially said no, but like I said, I have not received any information on
We're in
that.
agreement on the PFC. would like to discuss the PSC, and that's obviously as part of your discussion with legal counsel right now.
Is that something we have to, like last time about population, that we have to, I'll say, force by a village or a town board request, or are we taking, I just don't wanna do this back and forth for 3 more weeks and we haven't made a formal request and it's not formally in the draft agreement and so it never gets talked.
So since I've been in most of the meetings since the onset and then now in the role that I'm in, I'm understanding that this is actually a different request than initially. There was conversation about the commission, there was conversation about even a potential honorary vote at a board level or something. So this to me is the first time I'm hearing the committee level. Am I right on that? Or was it offered last time maybe at the meeting I missed? So
I think
this is a little bit different. Okay.
I think there was a, not to cachet, but I think there was a potential that the same request was actually twofold or as wide as the village was willing to receive it.
Okay.
And narrowing things down to the point where, PFC is village resident, appointed by the village board, understood, check the box, move on. Is there any other opportunity? There was, I think it's in the village ordinance that it's the police operations committee, I don't know what, there's a title, and it's not public safety, because that was 2015-ish, whatever, forward thing, but if there was a police specific operational thing, maybe it's a joint working group or call it a glorified ad hoc or whatever you want to call it, like however you want to formulate it, if there is the possibility of the village considering that, either through existing committee, new, or whatever.
He's taking notes right now.
So you guys can talk about it at the board meeting.
I'm on that
Yeah.
monitor over here.
Like I said,
I do a bunch
I'll
of.
stay on hold.
Legal counsel monitor.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of discuss that with the board.
Well, I mean,
And
of
the
course, right. If the board, save yourself the legal fees, if the board has absolutely zero appetite for it, then that's a, I don't wanna say an easy answer, but at least a straightforward one.
That's why I wanted clarification, because I heard a couple different things, so I just wanted to be able to clarify, so that's great.
But having said that, it remains a critical piece of the overall discussion for the town. Do you have anything you guys wanna bring up?
The only thing that, and if we're done talking about this, the only, thing I would like to mention before we close is, if any board member has any questions whatsoever, come contact me, contact Paul, contact Mike. I don't wanna have another repeat of what happened this past weekend,
What's that?
in going over to the public safety building and asking for budget numbers.
Well, let me address that for you.
Because you went to an employee, it's not,
Mike is part-time. Mike made a commitment in our last meeting Thursday.
I
And
understand.
I'll respect what you just said, okay? As long as I have all of your phone numbers, okay, and email addresses. Because Mike made a commitment to have us the budget numbers Friday. He didn't, I didn't receive them. I said, okay, not a big deal, it's the weekend. Friday I didn't have them. Saturday I didn't get them. Sunday I didn't get them. So I said, I'm just gonna stop down and see if Mike's at the hall. I didn't think he would be. So I knocked, talked to him. He wasn't there. I just said, can you have Mike give me a call or send me the budget numbers that he had promised us on Thursday? That's all the conversation was. There was no extended conversation. There was no disagreement, no argument. I simply made a request, which I feel is, and I'll continue to feel is entirely appropriate given the lack of meeting commitments when it comes to information throughout this entire process. And I think we've made great progress in that, so I'm not trying to end it on a negative note. So I appreciate everything all all the discussion, the open discussion, all of that. But if you're gonna bring that up, I'm gonna push back a little bit and say, never would have happened if commitments had been met. But I will go forward, as long as I have your email and phone numbers and your guys's, then I'm good with that. But given the circumstance at the time, I went down to see if Mike happened to be there, but somebody wasn't, so I just asked for a message to be relayed.
You've got my number, you could have asked me, I mean, I don't know, I can't answer
He has
for,
my email now.
I can't answer for what Mike's,
You can give my.
what happened on Friday, but, you know, like I said, it's just.
That's
you know,
fine, I don't understand why it's an issue. I
I
understand why it's an issue, but okay.
You know, you're like going into the store and asking employees, say, hey, I want information from something,
I
and
don't think that's an analogy, but okay.
it is. You're talking to employees, not administration.
It could be, it could be,
I think it's appropriate to go in and say, hey, can you have a manager give me a call?
it could be misconstrued depending on who you talk to as well. We're just trying to protect, as we're having conversations with you, we just, you know, and I'm not saying that you were out of line at all related to your conversation, I wasn't there. But I just want to protect the employees as we go through this process.
Did the employee say there was anything other than a request?
I think it's just, just perception that we just want to make sure that we keep our communication between all of us. Just keep it, keep it to that level, because then all of a sudden employees are like, well, what's going on? Why is the person from the town here? You know, if we went down to, the town and we were, asking questions, maybe it would be perceived wrongly by an entry-level employee versus you and I having a conversation. That's all. That's all we're trying to prevent, so.
Good news for you is we only have one employee.
I've been to see her multiple times.
All right, well,
Okay, we're gonna move
that,
on.
I will respect that, I disagree. I'm a little bit irritated that it's intimated that I did, was anything other than professional.
I didn't say anything, I just simply said
And
that
we'll
you
just leave it at that, we'll honor that, but that also, you know what, we can talk offline on this.
Yeah,
Because where's the line drawn?
Right.
When we come and talk to employees at your hot dog and heroes events, things like that, where's the line? Anyway, thank you, I appreciate that, I
So
respect
we're gonna
your
get a copy of that by the end of business day tomorrow, i.e. 12 o'clock.
You're asking for a commitment that's something that you don't reach your commitments.
So-
Oh, come on.
You'll have it before
Sorry, I
midnight.
just had to say.
You'll have
that.
it before
I just had to
midnight.
say that.
How's that?
It's like, all of a sudden we
Well,
went
no, I
from.
wanna make sure that-
You'll have it before midnight.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Morella, so we're all on the same page, it's September 4th, and we're gonna try to put a meeting together with the village board and the town board. You gotta take care of your other meeting that day. Okay. Anything else? Think we're good? We still got a couple things on this agenda we gotta talk about.
Well,
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming in, I thought it was very nice for my first time around.
one second, Frank. Josh is committed to have it to you by midnight tonight. I would like a commitment from the village by our next meeting on the 4th, hopefully the 4th, that you have us responsive back to that, so we can keep the ball moving down the path.
Well, as far as the joint meeting, what works best for you? Do you want it earlier in the day, or do you want it later in the day, or what?
Earlier is fine, 'cause I know
We're it's scheduled right now for 5 o'clock, we're fine 5 to 6. If your meeting's at 6, if it can be moved up to 4:30 to 6, so we have an extra half hour, great, if not 5 to 6.
For you? Okay. Isn't that way, then we don't have to quibble around with our other.
And it helps if you have, he gets us to any response to it, any approvals of the things we've suggested, you can have that back to us, or absolutely be ready to talk about it in the meeting, that would be great.
Thank you again for your
Guys,
great questions tonight and the
thanks for your
information.
time.
Yeah,
I
thank
know you
you.
guys are,
Thanks
a lot of
for-
stuff going on, thanks.
Thanks for the great questions and the information,
So
so.
September 4th at 4:30.
Yes.
Are we gonna have that
Thank
here?
you.
Or
Thank you for your time.
You can get this little talk like that, way you don't have to.
Sorry, it takes so long.
Or alternate, kind of trying to alternate.
Sorry, it
so-
takes so long.
Can I offer one suggestion? is that if you are the only two that can make 4:30, but everybody can make 7:30, I would rather have it at 7:30 than 4:30.
I'll agree with that.
Okay, well, I'll talk with Lori and she can.
You should be okay with that.
Tommy can make it, he's retired.
Well, unless he's golfing, but of course, by 7:30, golfing should be done with by then, right?
Golf leagues Tuesday night, so I don't think,
Is he
Well,
going?
he was, well, at our plant commission, he was looking at his calendar for.
he'll be done golfing, if he's golfing by 7:30.
So, well,
Because look, it's almost dark now.
okay, well, I will throw both of those at Lori tomorrow, because I gotta see her for a different thing, and then she can
Okay,
coordinate. So, alright, thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you, everybody, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Joint meeting with the village representatives has adjourned and our town board moves to other business. Number 2, discussion action on approving estimate for road shoulder repairs along the 12 and 1300 block of South Shore Drive and 1400 block of Marsh Road. For Shore would be $3,820, South Shore and $5,180 for Marsh Road. Repairs necessary as a result of stormwater damage. Want to give us a 1 minute on it, and we can take a vote, Josh?
Yeah, so the South Shore Drive, the 12 and 1300 block of South Shore Drive essentially includes, 1237 through 1248 and, around 1374 are the kind of address strings that go with that. Some of them were complaints that we had received, it's August, so probably towards the middle of June, I think. We had an agenda notice as an update on one of the agendas that we're looking at options. We had some additional issues / damage with, more or less washouts, if you wanna call it that. Putting all of those areas together, it makes sense to actually have someone come out and look at all at one fell swoop, rather than mobilizing 4 individual times. Looked at it with Bob on, I think it was Tuesday morning of this week. He gave us the estimate. It is a strong and conservative estimate for 8 hours, and it would be on time and material. So if it's 4 hours, it would be less than this. Same thing with Marsh Road. This is a long-standing issue really from, I think, early June or the end of May. Again, the same thing, time and material basis. His estimate was very well conservative at 8 hours worth of overall work. Marsh Road, they're planning on shaving off essentially 8 inches worth of 40 years of built-in topsoil and be able to get water to go off the edge of the road and find the ditch that's actually there. Seeding and straw over the top. The ones on South Shore Drive are a combination of 3 different things. There's an existing ribbon of pavement. There's a remnant of an existing ribbon of pavement that goes along the side of the road that was used to convey rain down a hill so that it didn't wash out. 30 years later, the asphalt isn't really so much asphalt as it is black gravel, and it has washed out. So it would be replacing a 2-foot, essentially, ribbon of not curb along the side of South Shore Drive. It would include remediating an issue, which is year 1374, no, 1325. There's an existing storm inlet there that has been landscaped over. Every time we get more than 2 inches of rain, I go out there and I shovel it off so that it will actually suck the water in, the culvert's fine, and all the rest of it. On the other side of the street, there's a paved inlet area, kind of a pavement bowl, if you would. We would do the same thing on the other side of the road so that we don't end up with what's going on. Above and beyond that, we've been trying to get a hold of both the building inspector and the county for regulations regarding driveways. There's a fair amount of newer-ish gravel driveways / aprons around the lake that are causing problems, and that will be a future agenda item. But
You feel the quotes are good, conservative, and may actually cost us less.
I'm very hopeful that it's gonna be about 70% of the total cost.
Any questions on it? Is this a safety issue?
the string at the 1200 block, this is the area that's upstream of the culvert. We paid to have the village clean out earlier this spring, so it's essentially the meeting work that we did to try to open that back up.
And will further storms make it worse?
Yes.
You know, sir?
Um,
I'll make a motion that we pay the $38.20 for South Shore Drive and the $51.80 for Marsh Road emergency repairs, stormwater damage, as stated by Supervisor Gask.
I would second that and include pulling the funds out of our existing ice and snow budget line item.
Second's been made, motion been made in the second, any further discussion?
I was going to ask, you already answered that, I was gonna say which account I'm gonna take us out of, so thank you for saying that. No more discussion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Number 3, approval of payment of Northwest Services invoice on 7/7/25. How much is it again? What was it
The
for?
grand total of the 3 is $5,667, and just to explain, these did come, and I missed them when I was paying their bills, and Northwest called and asked about the money, and I looked it up, and I already forgot payments.
And that's why we're not wanting to wait until September.
They were hoping we could pay, yes,
Fair enough.
and if we had to wait, we have to wait, but since it was my mistake, it's
We can
very
take care of it.
late.
Well, we'll have to be a roll call vote, but I'll make a motion to pay the bills on the Northwest Road.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Gieske,
Aye.
Morris,
Aye.
and so.
Aye.
I make a motion that we adjourn the special joint meeting.
Motion's carried.
I make a motion to adjourn the special joint meeting with the Village of Palmyra representatives on August 21st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We adjourn.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Great to hear
There's a
that.
lot more.
Anything?
I should have been plugged in, I lost some paper back.